I'm making this video for somebody that's kind of interested in getting into self-filming. There's a lot of different pitfalls you can fall into, and I want to kind of guide you along because I've been filming for about 6 years, like consistently, and I have spent a lot of money and bought a lot of gear and tried a lot of different things, and hopefully I can save you a lot of time and a lot of money. I kind of want to get into a little bit of everything, but let me kind of let you know right off the bat, this is something that you got to know. There's no way around it. Is filming is a pain in the ass. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of added weight. It's a lot of expense. It's a lot of time, and it's going to cause you to not shoot deer that you would have otherwise gotten because you're dealing with film, trying to film it. But with that being said, it is just so incredibly rewarding when it actually does work out. So if you're thinking about doing it and the things that I said before I said it was really rewarding didn't scare you away from it, then go for it. You're gonna learn. So I guess if you're thinking about getting into filming, you're probably thinking, what kind of camera do I need? Or, what am I going to record with? Now, you can start out with just a cell phone. That's not a bad option. But if you're thinking about doing it with your cell phone, your primary cell phone that is, the one that you use, I wouldn't recommend that because you're going to want to be on your phone. And now you're going to be dinking around on your phone while it's in the camera arm, or you're going to be taking it off the camera arm and then having to put it back on when you see something coming or whatever. If you got an extra old cell phone laying around, you want to go that route, probably not a bad way to do it. It's going to be the cheapest, most affordable way to go about it. The mistake that I made getting into filming was I went out and I bought really nice, expensive cameras, thinking that I'm going to buy a really nice camera and it's buy once, cry once type of deal is what I was thinking. But there were a lot of things that I didn't know from not doing it, So this was the first camera that actually I take that back. This one was the first one that I really used a lot and really revolved my setup around. And that is a Sony NX80. It's an incredibly expensive camera for what it is. Rex, dude, give me a minute. The things that I don't like about it, that you can get in a smaller, more affordable camcorder that still films in 4K. That's something that I would recommend doing, is getting a camera that's in 4K at least. But I think it's the A53 is a smaller version of that. And it's got the lens cover is like built into it. You just slide it up and down. So that's kind of nice. It's one less thing. You don't have to be up in a tree with freezing cold hands trying to put a lens cover on and worry about dropping it and stuff like that. Size is another major thing because you're putting this in a pack. The only reason that I even carry a pack is for camera gear. If it wasn't for camera gear, I'd be hunting out of my pockets. So size matters. You want to get the small stuff you can get. That's kind of the middle of the road type of gear is what I would recommend. If you're getting started, I don't care what your expectations are. Your videos are going to suck. Your skills are not going to be better than whatever camera you have. I guarantee it. So just get a setup that you'll use. That's the most important thing, is getting a setup that you'll use, that you're going to take out with you every time and get better and grow with. The other camera that I have, I wouldn't recommend this particular camera, but I would recommend a small DSLR. I think that's kind of the best route where you're going to get really good low light capabilities. Your low light is going to be way better on a DSLR than it is on any camcorder. And I'm not a camera gear nerd. Like, I can't tell you all the specs. I can just tell you from my research and my experience. I can't. It has something to do with the f-stop in the lens. The lower the f-stop number, the more light it lets in and all that horse shit. But anyhow, this does way better in low light than that does. I'll tell you that. Something I don't like about this camera that I have right here, this is a Sony A6300. It's a great camera, but for me, for hunting, you're going to want something, especially if you're on the ground. You're going to be able to want to flip that camera out to the side so you can watch whatever's in front of you, and out of the corner of your eye, kind of look at that screen and make sure it's in focus. With this camera, the screen only angles. That's all it does. It cannot flip out. So I have to have this stupid thing out in front of me all the time where I can see it, and the sunlight glare is a factor too because of that, where I can't have it off to the side, tip down. So anyhow, this camera is a good camera. Like I said, I just wouldn't recommend it for what we're doing here. This is the wrong application for it. I would be looking at, I think Canon makes a lot of models where the screen can flip out to the side and angle and flip around and all that stuff. Get something with a versatile display. That's going to be very important to you. So yeah, I guess once you finish with the main cameras, something that you're going to really want is a secondary camera, whether it be behind your shoulder, out in front of you, something where you can see what's going on. You know, if a video is so much more interesting when it's not just a deer walking through the woods, standing behind a tree forever, and then it steps out from behind the tree, and then an arrow goes flying at it. It's so much more interesting when you're able to cut back and forth with a secondary camera and be able to see, hey, he's watching, he's ranging it, you know, he's doing whatever, he's getting ready to draw. You know, be able to cut it back and forth because it'll make it a lot more interesting, like I said. So for that, GoPros, any kind of action camera. My current setup here, I just started using this 360 X3, I think is that model. But you're going to want just a secondary action camera. So if you're doing that, you're also going to need external batteries. You're going to need something to power them things. You're going to want to run whatever cameras you get. Make sure that they have looping. And if you don't know what looping is, that's when it is continuously recording a predetermined amount, whether it be 5 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. But what it's doing is it's always recording the last 5 minutes or the last 20 minutes. And when you hit the stop record button, it saves that last loop so that everything happened, it saves. So that way you're not fooling with cameras. Now, the last thing I want to do is if I got a camera on the tree right here, and I'm sitting here and a deer's coming in straight to me, I don't want to turn around, reach up, and try to do that. You're going to get caught every fucking time. So you're going to want to have a setup that is just low maintenance as possible. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying before with the display on this camera, how annoying it is that I got to be squared up on it, because I don't want that. I just want the most minimal amount of movement where I just flip the little switch on the side of my controller here and it starts recording. So be hunting, because man, filming is going to take you out of the hunt more than you realize. I can't even tell you how many deer that I can tell you 3 last season and 1 this season so far that I would have killed, that because I was fooling around with camera stuff, it didn't happen. You know, I got busted or I missed the opportunity to take the shot while they were traveling through, that type of deal. So you're going to want your system to be dialed in, where you're just boom, boom, and you're back to the hunt. Now, so we did main camera, secondary, action style camera. The next thing you're going to use the most, it makes it really easy for telling a story, because you always got it, is your cell phone. When I'm walking through the woods, I don't do it as much as I should. Last year I was really good about it. This year, it's been a rough year, so I just have kind of given up on trying to put a story together, because they're all wasted stories. They're all stories of me going out seeing nothing or whatever. So, but it's nice if you're actually see a deer or whatever, to be able to just pull out your phone while you're walking and saying, hey, you know, I'm coming into the such and such, the wind's out of the west, I'm slipping up this creek bottom into old Uncle Harry's stand or whatever horse shit you got going on. And you can tell the story, you can edit all that stuff together, and it just makes it so nice. There's a lot of different gear you can get into if you get a DSLR, different lenses and stuff like that. far as DSLRs go, lenses are weight. The more glass, the different lenses you fool with, you can get into a lot of weight, really expensive, really quick. I'm just running a kit lens on this camera and it's working out really good for bow hunting. Wouldn't use it for gun hunting where you're taking longer shots, but for bow hunting, works out great. Another thing that I've been doing that not too many people run GoPros or action cameras on their head, but this is a setup that I've been doing and I really like it. That's always recording. So when I'm walking through the woods, if something happens that's running on a loop, like I just mentioned earlier, just hit the button on top of my head and whatever just happened is now saved. You know, a deer jumps up in front of you and runs off. I've had that happen a bunch of times, type of deal. Or you're sitting there and some guy comes walking through behind you or whatever, and you don't want to be a dickhead and start recording them with your main camera, but you know you're recording them on your head, type of deal. That's an option to think about. Now, so if you're hunting off the ground, you can get a tripod. I would recommend staying away from tripods personally. They got a big footprint. You know, this ain't much right now, but by the time you get it stood up to whatever height that you're kneeling at or sitting at or whatever, it's going to take up a lot of space. It's going to be in your way. What I would recommend, and it's fast and easy too, is just a monopod with a stake on it for hunting off the ground. That's my turkey setup right there, all the way. I love running gun turkey hunting. It's so much fun. So with something like that, you get to where you jump down to the base of a tree that you're going to set up at, slam that in the ground, throw the GoPro out, and you're good to go. You're ready to start calling. So that for hunting off the ground, and then obviously a secondary camera, like we said, whatever you choose, whether it be a 360 camera or a GoPro or any type of action camera. Now, if you're hunting out of a tree, get yourself a quality camera arm. I don't care if you're filming off your phone, if you're filming off a 20-year-old camcorder, your camera arm, you want something that sets up easily. You know, it's quiet, it works good. You're going to set that thing up every time you set your stand up. You know, so if you're going to spend the money on a quality stand, which I would recommend if you're on the fence about something like that, but anyhow, get yourself to something that's fast and easy to set up. Now, I don't use this. I bought it. It's never been on a tree. I was working on a prototype of my own that was not working out. I got frustrated. I ordered this, and then I got my prototype figured out, and I never even once strapped this on the tree. This is going to be a loaner to my buddy Ricky. But that's the one that I would recommend. If you don't have the ability to if you don't have the ability to build a camera arm like what I did that works for exactly what you want to do, that's the one that I would recommend. I haven't used the Beast one. They're pretty similar. They're both probably fine, but something that's just simple and fast and light and doesn't take up a lot of space. Those are the things you should look for in a camera. This is the one that I'm running. So for me, I'm hunting out of a tree stand, and I want to set my shot up over here, and I set my camera arm up against the tree here. So I want something that can reach all the way around me. And like I said, I got that stupid display on that camera, so I need it to go out in front of me versus having it to the side where I can look at the side screen. So I need more camera arm length. So that's why I ended up building this one, is because it's, to my knowledge, it's got the most length of anything on the market, but it's definitely got the most length on anything in the market for its weight. This is I think lighter than this one here. I'd have to wait to find out for certain, but yeah, quality camera arm, highly recommend that. And I guess have fun. That'd be the last thing that I can say is you got to enjoy what you're doing and just try to have fun with it. I'll tell you what, is filming late season. We're in late season right now. It's January 10th and it's cold out. I don't know, probably 10 degrees out. It's colder right now. Self-filming is the worst when it's cold because your batteries are just always dying. You can put in a fresh battery in that camera, not use it for 2 days. Next time you're out, it'll be at 20% when you go to turn it on to film a deer. You're like, ah, fuck. You know, just this time of year is frustrating. GoPro batteries, don't even, so there you go, right there. If you're going to be running a GoPro, you're going to want to run an external battery like we talked about. Don't even bother trying to run a GoPro with just the stock GoPro battery. I did it like, I don't know, 5 years ago or so. I tried. They suck. They're dead so fast you wouldn't even believe it. I've taken pisses that last longer than the batteries in them GoPros when it's cold out. So, yeah, I guess from here on, I'm going to get into some setups and some weight. I'm going to show you the stuff that I use on every hunt, which is as minimal as I can get it. And we'll kind of go from there. So one thing I realized that I didn't touch on, and a lot of my buddies are like trying to get into self-filming. So I've been answering a lot of questions from people. And one of the questions that comes up an awful lot is they ask about Tactacams mounted on their bow. Now, I don't have any experience with the newest ones. Maybe they're really great. But I do have experience with the earlier ones. And I think they suck, to be perfectly honest with you. I wouldn't recommend, if you're only going to have one camera, a Tactacam is not the way to go. I'd rather have a camera on a camera arm or something like that. To each is their own. I'm not knocking the brand. I got nothing against them. I could care less. But you got to realize, look up videos that aren't commercial videos for them. Just every guy. I have one. If you look at early, it's one of the first videos I ever posted. That's a Tactacam video. You watch the guy, you see the shake of the bow when the guy finishes drawing, and then you see the arrow get almost to the animal, but by then the guy has like dropped his bow arm or twisted his bow out of the way or whatever, and you just see the arrow flying at the thing, and then nobody ever remembers to, even if they did hold it on there and the shot took a nice video of that arrow going through the deer, nobody ever remembers to take the bow and follow it, run away, type of deal. You're just going to end up with a really shaky videos at the end of the day. If you don't believe me, just go look some videos up. They're all over YouTube. But that's my thought on bow-mounted cameras. And with that being said, I have a bow-mounted camera on my bow right now. But I don't use it I have it on there partly for that reason. What I have on my bow is a 360 camera, and I have a video on my channel about that camera being mounted to my bow if you want to look it up and learn more. But the reason that I have that camera mounted to my bow is I keep it within finger reach. So my bow grip is here. I can, with my middle finger, I can reach out and I can hit the record button. It starts recording. So now the reason that I would use that setup is, say that I'm walking into the woods and I really don't, I try to only shoot a deer if I can get it on the main camera. But let's just say I got a 180-inch deer out in front of me that I'm going to shoot regardless. I got the ability to hit that button, and then I got a 360 video that's recording me and what I'm doing and out in front of me. So it's kind of a dual purpose camera because it's kind of a cool angle. It's looking down the arrow, me drawing, and then being that it's a 360 camera, it's not going to be decent footage if it's past like 15 yards because they just don't collect enough data to make a clear picture out that far with a fisheye lens. But there you go. There's my thoughts on bow-mounted cameras. They're a novelty. If I were putting a kit together, it's the last thing that I would be concerned about. But you can put one on if you want after you get your other stuff figured out. All right, as I was putting things away, one thing I didn't mention, microphones. I got mixed feelings about them. I don't use them at all. I bought them. This is one of the things that I've wasted money on. This came with that camera when I bought it. So, no, actually, I take that back. I paid for this. The microphone separate. They're not worth the space that they take up, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe you'll think differently, but real estate in my pack is a big deal. I don't want nothing extra. I don't want anything in there that I don't use every time I hunt or nearly every time I hunt. they just, especially like these GoPro ones, this is a Rode mic. I mean, it's supposed to be a quality mic. They just don't do a good job on a GoPro. At least I don't think. This on top of a camera, yeah, works great. You got that much extra space in your bag? Because I don't. Not for that. Now, what I will say, I really don't watch a lot of hunting videos. I watch a little bit of the Hunting Public, and I watch Whitetail Adrenaline. When he puts out a video, I watch it. He's just such a cool dude. I've met the guy a couple of times. He's just Jared. He's just a fucking cool dude. And that's one thing that I've always appreciated about his videos is the audio is so good. But here's the thing. I'm not making Whitetail Adrenaline quality videos. And if you're getting into filming, you ain't either. Not for a while. A good long while. But something to think about. Start simple. Add that stuff on later when you think you actually need it. Don't buy it from the get-go. That would be my recommendation. And I don't think it's a bad one. Okay, so what you see on the table here, this is what I consider, and this is just solely my opinion, but this is what I consider a kind of high quality, but yet minimalist setup. Now, everything on the table goes in the woods with me every time I hunt and get set up. With the exception of this camera right here, as I mentioned earlier, this replaced this setup. But man, if you're looking for something a little bit more budget friendly, I really liked this setup, this GoPro with a just paracord hanging it off the tree. And sometimes I think about going back to it because I've been having some intermittent issues with that camera. But with that being said, so what I actually bring to the woods with me every time you're looking at it. So this is my bag that holds pretty much only camera gear. Other than camera gear in this thing, I got a pruner, a saw, a grunt call, a rangefinder, and an extra headlamp, an extra strap for the stand, and some plastic bags to cover up camera gear when it starts raining. I got a pull rope that's connected to the bag that my bow gets strapped to the bag, and I pull all this up at once. So these two cameras go in this bag. This is the external battery that operates this, so it's supposed to stay running the whole time I'm hunting, but sometimes it doesn't, and I don't know why, and that's very frustrating. Camera arm that I built, but like I said, this could be swapped out with any other camera arm. This one is bigger, so it actually takes up more space in the bag. And then the head-mounted GoPro that I talked about earlier. The only thing that you're not seeing right here is another 360 camera similar to this one. It's just a little bit smaller, and it's mounted to my bow. So that is about that. I'll pack this stuff up, and I'll show you what it looks like in the bag because I'm going to hunt tomorrow anyhow, so I got to pack it back up. But I will do some weights first so you can get an idea of how much weight you're adding to yourself. I'm not going to include this in the weight or the bow mounted thing. We're just going to do this, what goes in your pack. There's no point in measuring the weight of a camera arm that it's not on the market. So we will do this one here. We'll take my action camera here. I'm going to put the cover back on it because I want to scratch up the lenses. I attached this to the tree with a over center buckle. Might as well just drop it in here because this gets included in it. You're going to want a little camera bag. Battery. You're going to need an extra battery for your camera. Camera arm. Strap for the camera. Fluid head, since I didn't have a fluid head on that. You're also going to have a little controller most likely, but they don't really weigh that much, so That is 6 pounds even. So with what I consider a minimalist setup, and not including the weight of 2 other cameras, you're looking at 6 pounds. Now, I don't know what kind of stand you're running, but that's how much my tree stand weighs, just to put it in perspective. I'm actually kind of curious. Let's pull up my actual stand right now because I got an oversized seat on it and stuff too. So it might be with straps, it might be more than that. So with this setup the way it is right now, I'm at 8.9, or we'll just call it 9 pounds. So it's almost the weight. It's definitely, let's see what these weigh. 4.2 pounds. So it's more than the sticks weigh. So it's just something to think about. If you're worried about weight, you notice the camera gear. Like every now and then when it's just absolutely pouring rain, I won't take the camera gear because it's like, this is pointless. There's not even going to be a break in the rain. I'm only hunting just to see what's out there. I'm just going to take the stand. Boy, when I'm walking with just the stand on my back and I don't have that extra 6 pounds leveraged off the back of me, it's like, this is so great. I wish that I never had to carry camera gear. All right, so here's my camera bag packed up. This is a Fieldline Pro Series. It's just a basic bag. In fact, I really like that bag. I got another one sitting right there. It's got all my chargers and stuff in it. But from the top, after it's all packed up, that's what it looks like. Camera bag's right there. Extra battery. The battery pack is right there. Then I run the extra camera batteries in there. This is getting a little ratty, and I have to sew that up soon. But yeah, so this is a really, I like this bag. It's like cheap. I think I bought it for like 20 bucks a long time ago. I think you get them for like 35 or so now. But nice top load bag. I got to make extra room, I cut the wall out so that I got more room for the camera arm to fit inside of this bag. So that's another thing for, oh, you're gonna see all my dirty dishes. As far as packing your, having a camera bag and stuff like that, I really prefer to have everything inside of the bag versus like having your camera arm strapped to the outside of it for a few reasons. It's more protected on the inside. It's not getting directly rained on, or in the wintertime it's nice because it's not getting snowed on, so it's really safe. It's not going to get snow soaked through the bag. But the other major thing is it's not clanking on shit, and it's, yeah, there. I mean, those are the main reasons. Really all you need to know. There's more, but I like this setup. I'll show you what it looks like on the stand. Not that you probably really care about that bag. All right, so here you go. You got my complete setup on the stand. I got 3 sticks with aiders. Hang that off the backpack strap. I just added a little paracord to that so it would reach. Simple bungee around it. And in case you're wondering about the weight, it is, I just weighed it. It's 23 pounds is what you're looking at right there. So yeah. All right, so we kind of went through everything. If you got any more questions, ask them in the comment section and I will try to get back to you, as long as you don't ask a complicated question, because I'm not texting away with strangers. But anyhow, I really did make this video to help guys out that are trying to get into this. At this point, my channel, for the amount of effort that I put into it last year and how much worse it did than what I thought it should have done, I kind of am out of fucks. So it's kind of like I'm just doing this for my own entertainment and to help you guys. And it's a little bit more fun when you don't care anyhow. So if this helped you out, just leave me a comment saying that it helped you out, because that'd be cool. That's all I'm looking for. I don't give a shit if you subscribe. That's up to you. But yeah, I really do. the stuff that I went over in this video, I know it's going to be long and it's going to be boring, but trust me, it cost me a lot of money and a lot of time to learn this stuff. So watching a long, boring video will save you a lot more time and money than what it cost me to make it. And I'll try to edit it up with some decent overlays, but man, I'm getting tired of editing, I'll be honest with you. So good luck hunting this year or next year, whatever you're doing. Good luck filming.